the so-called this is what we get.
Petrol levy.
This is all we get.
We now call it P levy or
D levy.
Welcome to the political rant with me, the voice, right? Some Ghana sent to the GF. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on the notifications so that
we
anytime
instituted
videos
our
of this
office
nature
to help us in
are
our
uploaded,
fight
you'll be
against
notified.
corruption. Catch me with successful prosecution. The papier yada. Bako minkaze bomino bako. 100,000 okoji no recovery no.
Yes.
Ferimpo. Usuka yes. Pape Dakemu, he lives like an Arabian king, and all he can do is to recover 100,000. And here dollars so. Ghana cedis. And look, we have
sometimes just the mere office being in place, no, can scare people.
Who the hell is scared of OSP? Who is scared of OSP? I'm matching to time and now there seems to be some fear of that office, but there's no fear of the OSP. Because the best he does is to come on radio and TV, throw words around, or kokod now, or luzupotoa now, I bet you no konifia asa. And the next minute, he travels more than even the president. Unimsa, Obi no to kwanjano. How do you expect to run this office successfully? I brother Mbia how he play more out to kwan, and it doesn't go alone. Until I'm see a bokegu. The amount of money we're expending on that office and on the SP, you have no idea. And this is all we get. I'll come to the specifics. Nedikai. All my updates, I don't know one case or Lucia against you have been MCs at DC. I don't know one count. Because the law says you update us on losses, convictions, and ongoing cases. I don't know one no. And that one he's deliberately not updating us on that. That's even a breach of the very act that sets him up. Because the law doesn't say come and choose and pick and choose which ones to update us on. Convictions. Cases. What? All cases. And then
demands it.
It's an obligation.
Yeah.
He shall update us. And the update in the law
that the so-called petrol levy. We now call it P levy or
D levy. Dumsɔ Levy.
Dumsɔ Levy. But in fact, Afenyo exposed them. They wanted to quickly move it through the House without a scintilla of information that was actually a tax that was going to be imposed. It was Afenyo that stood up and said, why don't you tell us that this is a levy that we are going to pay on every liter of fuel, 1 cedi?
But it sounds like it's not a lot of money. Until I've now seen posts about comparing Ken Ofori-Attah's 1 cedi on e-levy of 1 cedi on 100 cedis of e-levy, and the petrol thing is what, 12 cedis?
It's 12 cedis.
A liter.
A liter. And you are going to...
So if you buy 1 liter, you pay 13 cedis.
You pay 13 cedis.
Okay.
Paul, and the interesting thing is that, you know, today petrol seems to be down because of the dollar.
Yes.
The strength of the dollar having been weakened. But when it goes up, that is when we are going to feel it.
It may not go up. President Mahama says it will range between 10 and 12.
In the year 2013 or 2014 thereabouts, then Finance Minister Tepe introduced the special petroleum levy, 17.5%. They told us it wasn't too much. But anytime fuel prices went up, that is when we felt it. Without the 17.5%, I'm sure would have paid less. And it's the same thing. As soon as the petrol prices start going up, we'll feel it. And we know that...
So if you buy 1 gallon, which is what? Which is how many liters?
I think is it 10?
No, it's not 10. It's less than 10.
It's less than...
Yeah. It's about 5 or
It's
something.
about 5, yes.
Yeah.
So you are going to pay 5 cedis on every...
On 1 gallon.
On 1 gallon. And so if you happen to buy more, can you imagine how much you are paying on every gallon? The impact is wider.
Is the impact going to transfer by drivers onto the people?
Of course. It's going to be transferred by drivers onto people. And it's wider.
But is it true that Ken Ofori-Attah was charging 1 cedi
outside of Ghana? To court. We know what that did to somebody like Kenel Damoa. You know what that did to somebody like Kenel Damoa? Okay? After that came Cecilia Dapa. 1 year, she was tried in the media, made by everybody to believe that she had been involved in one corruption offense or the other. The effect of the Cecilia Dapa on the MPP's fortunes in election 2024 cannot be overemphasized. Paul, cannot be overemphasized. We all saw everybody saying that MPP, we are thieves, we are criminals, we are stashing money under beds and so on and so forth. The OSP milked it with cameras going to Sisi Adape's house, right? Oh, what happened? Eventually, the OSP said to us that after studying the case, it is not within his mandate to prosecute.
But is mandate not the first thing you check?
Exactly. Oh, so when you go, for instance,
I'm asking as a question. I'm innocent. I mean, if you're a prosecutor, for instance, we were taught in law school, Kwame Tete, civil procedure, that the first thing you check is the parties. Next is the forum. So if you're a prosecutor, the first thing is your mandate.
Okay.
Do you have a mandate to prosecute this?
Exactly.
That's the first thing. You don't finish the process and come and tell us I don't have a mandate. That's awkward.
That is why when you walk to a police station, and say to the policeman, police, me pacho, ura pola domochre, wajimi sika,
Obamasum.
Wajimi sika. There and then the police officer will tell you that this is civil, it is not criminal.
Yes.
At that point, the police officer will not go chasing people and so on and so forth.
Or if you tell him Wabomasum, where? Adabraka and Adabraka police station. If you are standing in the suit.
Exactly.
That's what he will tell you. The jurisdiction, the mandate.
Exactly.
That's the first thing you do. And you, a lawyer, you finish the work and come and tell us you didn't have a mandate.
You didn't have the mandate. When you look at the facts in the Cecilia Dapa matter, right? On the face of it, it's not even within the remit of Yoko. On the face of it, without more, I'll say that I'm forwarding it to the FIC, Financial Intelligence Center, because they deal with things like money laundering. And so if somebody has got lots of money like that, potentially it is money laundering. Potentially.
Once you talk of financial center, I think we have to say there's a very good man there. It's called Kojo Chumbuafo.
Yes, he's my friend.
He's a very good man.
He's my friend.
He suffered a lot under the NPP administration, and people have told me that the way Kojo Chumbuafo suffered and the way he's dealing with his job professionally, he'll go to heaven because he has opportunity to cut people's heads off. The guy was in Iyoko for 8 years. He spent his birthday in Iyoko. The only NPP guy who was with him was Wagus. Wagus Osebonsu.
Yes.
Everybody abandoned him. Today he's back at FIC. He's doing a good job.
Today on the floor of Parliament, I supported a statement by the minority leader on the gains of our democracy and the need to end the retribution.
Chumbuafo is an example of that.
I said that in 2001, President Kufuor, people were asking him to pursue people in the manner which they had done during the era of the PNDC FRC era, right? But President Kufuor said, no, let's do national reconciliation and end retribution. It gets to a point where, as a leader, you should take the high moral standards. Right?
Mandela did it.
But
they will say that you are saying that because you're in opposition, you're afraid. And when you're in government, you didn't say that.
I am not afraid. I've been a private practitioner all my life. I'm not afraid. But I am looking at building a society that is coherent, a society that is more focused, a society where leaders are interested in making sure we are getting quality schools, quality healthcare, human rights are being protected.
Okay, producer is telling me we are digressing. Let's get back onto the matter.
So, Paul, now,
so you talked about the mandates on the Cecilia Dapa matter. So they are coming to the second leg of the
so in the light of that, when Cecilia Dapa was disgraced and it came to nothing, when Colonel Damwa was disgraced and it came to nothing, when La Bianca disgraced to the point and died from it, if I'm the OSP, I'll begin to evaluate the content of my press conference.
Absolutely.
And look at whether it is balanced to the extent that if tomorrow, if I am not proceeding against the person anymore, that person will not walk with a dent around him. And for me, that is the content. Now let's go to procedure.
Yeah, the second leg.
If the office of the special prosecutor needs Ken Ofori-Atta in Ghana, before it can undertake can initiate proceedings against them, establish a prima facie case and proceed to charge him and commence criminal proceedings, then what it has now is weak.
If he needs to see Ken before
if
he can
you need
go.
to see Ken, because Paul, Ken has a right not to talk when he appears before the OSP.
Oh, he does?
He has a right.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Oh, he can come and say, I won't tell you anything.
I won't tell you anything. The worst you can do
Prosecute me, I'll come to
the
court.
worst you can do is to keep him for 48 hours.
After that, you have to let him go.
After that, you can.
And he will meet you in court.
And he will meet you in court.
In court, Ken cannot say, I won't say.
No.
If he does,
even in court, he can choose not to testify by himself.
I see.
Yes. In court, when the prosecution is done with his case, Ken can say, I'm filing an application for no case to answer on the strength of your evidence.
Atufosin did not testify. You are right about
Yes.
it. I covered Atufosin. Atufosin did not testify by himself.
Yes.
He elected not to.
Yes. And so on that score, if the OSP desperately needs Ken to be able to prosecute his case, then fundamentally the OSP needs to check his case. It's weak.
That's an interesting point. I'm not sure whether people are getting it. You are saying that OSP says, I need Ken, I need Ken, I need Ken. Ken can come and say, my lord, I have nothing to tell you.
Yes. Mr. OSP,
Oh,
I choose.
I see.
Yes. Yes, he can say that.
And what will the effect of that be on the public, the press conference?
The effect of that will be to determine on the strength of the evidence you have minus Ken's statement whether there's a prima facie case against him. When you take it to court, the court will then determine whether it is safe to convict him on that evidence, whether you have proven beyond reasonable doubt. Now, if you fail, what happens to Ken? You would have dented his image in the public domain. Again, that is why the content of the press conference needs to be measured. You understand? That is why the content of the press conference needs to be measured. Okay. Now, my brother, let's look at the OSP. Let's look at the OSP. And this is just by the way. And I've shared some of the messages with you. Anytime I'm about to go to court with them, they use a UK banner number to send me threatening messages, making false allegations against me. And tomorrow I'm going to file a complaint against them with a cybercrime.
But how do you know that it is coming from them?
So, Paul, I've shared some of them with you.
I want to read it for general public to hear, the ones that you shared with. But before then, there are a lot of text messages coming from lawyers. One, they don't want me to mention their name, so it's cool. They are practicing barristers here in Ghana. They don't want me to mention their name, but this is it. It says the medical report part of the exhibit of the process filed on 27th of May at the Human Rights Court. This process was followed up with a letter from Oforiatta's lawyers on 28th of May to the OSP. How does he now play I am not aware? He received the letter on the 28th at least, but he chose not to respond and create the impression that he was not aware. The OSP may not trust Ken or the Mayo Clinic, but he cannot ignore evidence. A lot of it is coming. And then they forwarded to me the public notice. It's all pointing to a suggestion that the OSP may have been dishonest in the processes. Now, let me read to you, viewers, what the lawyer Bafo here sent to me. One of the texts is as follows. It says, I am sure, it's a bit gory. Let me see what I can do about it. It says, I am sure when your wives, it says plural, when your wives deny you sex at night, then you come pour your anger on us. Uhumfi wate. You speak like your face.
This was after I did an interview on Joy on the OSP matter this afternoon.
It says Uhumfi wate. Kisi Ajabe can do that. I don't believe that.
I'm not saying it's from Kisi. I'm saying it's coming from the OSP. You need to separate the OSP from the SP.
But even Samuel Dako, he won't do. I don't think.
Well,
anyway, let's see. It says Uhumfi wate. You speak like your face. Most useless and foolish talk coming from a lawyer. He never envisaged that a day will come when he will be declared a fugitive in Ghana. Kwaye Bretio Mutia. Hey, what's that? Kwaye Bretio Mutia. He's talking about somebody's height.
Yeah, he's insulting me.
I'm sure Nana B got your nudes. That is why you are following his propaganda. You are given this week to shut your dogs and yourself, else that Ashawo wife of yours in the UK is never going to have peace. Your hypocrisy and double standards is galling. Kwasia boy. Hey! Then another one says, Bafwe, are you tired of the radio tour to abolish the OSP? Oh, it says OSP here. So you know the motivation. There is a serious danger to humanity if creatures like you walk on this earth like they are the good guys. You are a monster and you know you are and is happy to live your monstrous life. Charge and bail lawyer. Oh, you can't say that of Bafo. Whoever wrote it, you should be ashamed of yourself. Bafo is a very distinguished lawyer. Everyone knows that. Charge and bail lawyer. You can't change a twisted evil mind. You can't change a twisted evil mind. You are a true definition of evil. Hopefully, the exposure deters everyone from hiring you. Imagine abandoning your morals and integrity only to end up third in line. Third in line is what? Of what?
I don't know.
Your second wife in UK. Oh, that I can't say. Talking about a woman's private part, something I can't say.
Whew. But it shows that they know nothing about me because I have no second wife in the UK. They know nothing about me. Paul, anytime I'm about to go to court with them, I receive these messages. And today, after doing the interview on Joy, I received this message. I am not saying that it is coming from them, but if it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, then it is certainly a duck. The circumstances are too, too close for me to wonder anymore. You understand?
Wow.
So Paul, this is...
So he said that on procedure, Kisi Agame does not need Ken Ofori-Atta. He can proceed without him.
Yes. I'm saying that he doesn't need Ken Ofori-Atta. He can proceed without him. Paul, there are questions I want to ask. What happened to the NLA Textat matter?
Who's NLA, National Lottery Authority?
Yes. You see?
So that's another file, producer. National Authority, they had a what?
NLA Textat procurement matter. Before Martin Amidu left office, he was investigating NLA and Textat procurement issues. Subsequently, when Martin left office, that matter was discontinued. That matter had a lawyer from the OSP's office as the lawyer for one of the parties. Is it the case that when Martin left and a new SP took over, they decided that they will not continue? Why have we not been updated on that matter? Why have we not been updated? Why have we not been updated on La Bianca? Why have we?
Tell us why we've not been updated on NLA. La Bianca is dead.
I don't know. I don't know, Paul. I don't know. I'm asking questions. I'm only asking questions. People have started asking questions about the necessity of the OSP. People have started asking.
Whether it's useful given the provisions of Article 88 and the Attorney General.
A few days ago, I saw my brother Atik do so on Asempa. Ekusi saying, I'm sure your I've shared the video with your crew. They may show it.
Okay.
They may show Atik's video.
If you want them to show it now, they'll get it ready. But go on. When they are ready, they'll tell me that it's ready.
Right. The question that confronts us as a nation is that if you have 149 million cedis to spend, would you want to spend it on the
The video is ready. Let's see what you want us to see with Atik. Let's watch the video now. The Supreme Court today overturns the High Court's ruling in BCU OSP legal battle. We know that the OSP has been fighting Charles BCU, I don't know what for, about some videotape that Anas did. Of course, you know that Kisi Agame used to be lawyer for Anas. They are bosom friends, they are partners, etc., etc. And this is what the story says. The Supreme Court, and incidentally, the lawyer who argued this case successfully, the same lawyer on my seat now, so don't worry, there's a lot that we're going to hear tonight. The Supreme Court has overturned a High Court ruling that dismissed an application filed by the former secretary to the Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining, Charles BCU, at the Human Rights Division of the High Court. Charles BCU filed an application there that was dismissed. Let's see. The application was filed against the Office of the Special Prosecutor in relation to the handling of criminal complaints against him. The case stems from allegations of corruption and related offenses against Charles Bissiou following the airing of an investigative documentary by journalist Nas Arimiya Nas. Subsequent to the airing of the documentary, the OSP declared Bissiou a wanted person. In response, Bissiou secured an injunction from the courts to prevent the OSP from enforcing the arrest. In June 2023, he filed a case at the Human Rights Court accusing the OSP of unlawfully securing the arrest warrant. The OSP, however, denied the existence of any such arrest warrant and argued that it did not require judicial authorization to arrest Bissiou. The Kaneshie District Court, which Bissiou claimed had issued the alleged warrant, also denied ever granting such an order. This position was supported by the Attorney General, who represented the District Court. The Attorney General here refers to Dominica Ayini's outfit. Despite this, Bissiou's legal team cited a public interview granted by the Special Prosecutor on Joy FM's news file as evidence of the alleged warrant. They argued that the judge should listen to the interview audio before making a determination. However, the judge dismissed the case without reviewing the audio, which to his lawyer was contrary to an earlier indication that it would be conceded. Bissiou subsequently filed a judicial review application at the Supreme Court, seeking to quash the High Court's decision and prohibit the presiding judge from continuing to hear the case. According to Bissiou's lawyers who are in the studio today, the Supreme Court has now directed the High Court to determine whether the arrest warrant was lawfully obtained. In response to the Supreme Court's ruling, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has indicated that it will now expect to cross-examine Bissiou's legal team in court. Speaking to City News after the proceedings, Bissiou's lawyer, Nana Ejebafo, emphasized the significance of the case in setting a precedent on the legal authority of the OSP